Hi everybody and welcome. Today we're going to look at some regression analysis. So let me explain to you what variables we're looking at. But we have two variables, and number one is how many pounds the pie weighed, and number two is how many minutes it took to eat it. So what we had here was a group of very rambunctious people who were interested in eating really big pies and timing how long it took. We don't have any data on how many times people threw up, but I'm thinking maybe going further that could be like a limitation. I'm just kidding. What we're interested in finding out is if we know how much a pie weighs, can we figure out how long it should take someone to eat it? That's our basic research question. So let's look at our data, make sure it's in there. Yep, it sure is. We can see all sorts of things here. We can see that for this person took 68 minutes to eat a 22-pound pie. This person took 57 minutes to eat a 19-pound pie. This person took 43 minutes to eat a 26-pound pie. That guy wolfed it, or female, I don't know. I'm not here to judge. But we have our data. So we want to analyze our data. The first thing we want to do, though, before we run a regression, is we need to make sure that it's a linear relationship. We can do this two ways, and we're actually going to do both ways. One way is to look at the graph and look at the scatter plot. We always want to do that. And another way is to run a correlation, and this will tell us whether or not we have a linear relationship. Let's start with running our graph, and we're going to run a scatter plot. And this will give us a visual of what the data is doing. And we need to put our dependent variable on the y-axis and our independent variable on the x-axis. So if we're interested in finding out whether or not the weight of pie, the pie weight, can predict how many minutes it takes someone to eat it, which would be our independent and our dependent? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Have you all seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off, or are you just far too young for that? Because if you haven't seen it, it's definitely an 80s classic. I digress, as always. Okay, so for our dependent variable, it's the minutes it takes to eat. It's dependent on what the weight of the pie is. So we're going to put our pie weight right over here. And we're going to hit OK. And we're going to get our scatter plot. And look at that. I mean, that's quite a relationship. It looks to me like it's definitely a positive relationship. There's a little bit spread out. So let's see, let's run a correlation and see if it is actually a linear relationship, or if it's maybe too spread out. I don't know. It looks pretty good. That looks like a pretty good one. Let's see here. We're going to run correlation, bivariate, and fancy that. What nerd would be playing on SPSS all day? That's what I want to know. I wonder. So ideally they would have been over here when you open it up, and then you would put them over here. Somebody may have already run this. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Ta-da! At the correlation. Our Pearson correlation shows, if we look at our significance first, it is significant. So there is a significant relationship between the number of minutes it takes to eat and the weight of the pie. We look at our Pearson coefficient, our correlation coefficient, also known as our R coefficient, and we see that it's 0.621. It's a positive number, so it's a positive relationship, and it's pretty moderate to strong. That's a relatively strong relationship. And what else was I going to say? I was going to say something else. Oh, it is positive. So if the weight of the pie goes up, the number of the minutes to eat it goes up. If the weight of the pie goes down, the number of minutes to eat it goes down. Okay, what do we want to do next? And we're going to hit Analyze. We're going to run a regression. When I run the regression, I want to run a linear regression. This is what we're studying. But you can see here there are so many types of regressions to be run. But we're starting off with a real nice linear regression. I'm going to reset it. This is what it would look like when you open it up. And I want to put my pie weight, as we have already determined, as our independent variable, and the number of minutes it takes to eat as our dependent variable. I want to go into statistics. Now, estimates and model fit are always selected here. That's the default. I'm going to add descriptives. And I'm going to hit OK. Here's what I get back from my regression. I have my descriptive statistics, so the average number of minutes was 67 with a standard deviation of 14.35. The average weight of the pie was 21 pounds, a 21-pound pie. Could you do that? It would really depend upon the flavor. And I realize as I'm talking about this in my mind, I'm picturing banana cream, cherry, apple, those types of pies. And I'm thinking, I bet a lot of people are listening to this and they're thinking pepperoni, sausage, meatball, right? Because that could be considered a pie. I don't know. I was going with like blueberry pie, blackberry pie. But anyhow, 21-pound pie. We ran the correlation. It's run it again, which it always does with a regression. We have also gotten our R and our R square. We've gotten our ANOVA. And we've gotten our coefficient. And this is where we're going to find a lot of important information. So we have all of the outputs. And what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to write this up. Let me do one more graph. Scatter plot. This is what we had done before. But the difference between a correlation scatter plot and a regression scatter plot is that we can add the line. If you double click on it, remember, we're going to add right here. If you kind of hover your mouse over it, it'll tell you it's the fit line. So right here is our regression line. And again, if we wanted to, we could make this a nice color. I think I chose that one last time. We can change our little points to little diamonds. You can make them a little bigger. You can make them blue. I don't know if that'll show up. Not so well. Let's make this a little bit lighter. And there you have it. So what we're going to do next is we're going to determine what you need to turn in for your lab. So let me come down here to your lab. Okay. These are the questions that you're going to need to answer. Number 1, what is your dependent variable? Number 2, what is your independent variable? Number 3, what is your favorite pie flavor? Again, be creative. Number 4, please calculate the predicted estimated number of minutes it would take to eat a 13-pound pie and a 16-pound pie. Be sure to show your work. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to write up the results section. And I have this on a PowerPoint slide for you. And then you need to answer these 4 questions. So I'm going to just pause for a minute so that you can go ahead and copy this down. You do realize how difficult it is for me to sit still like this, right? And then I'm gonna end on a large PowerPoint slide that will have all of the outputs and the template you want to follow when you are writing up your results. So you have all of the information you need is in here, and here is how you want to write it up. Wherever there's an asterisk, it should be filled in with something. Use the video that I made and posted today on regression interpretation, and it will help you fill out this box and help you to determine where to get the numbers from. So you can even take like a screenshot of this if you want. And you'll need to turn in the results section and the 4 questions. You'll also need an APA title page, 7th edition for sure. Okay guys, good luck.